Welcome everyone to another edition of Lawn Care Skull Sessions. I'm BJ. My co-host as always is Uncle Benny. Bam! And again, we have Uncle Rob from Scag.
He's flown up again a couple of days later. Wearing the same fucking outfit.
Yep,
drinking the
same motel.
Drinking the same beery.
We're starting to get some flow here, man. We're getting these guys flying up to see us.
Yep.
You're very important, dude.
Thank you very much. That makes me feel good.
Nah, just jokes. Welcome to part 2 of the Scag Australia episode.
Part deuce.
BJ, how are we setting this off?
Mate, we will definitely have to set it off with a thank you very much, first of all, for everyone who's listened to part 1. And welcome to part 2.
I hope we haven't bored you too much.
No, I think we've done pretty well from all of the feedback we've had. So we're going to kick this episode off with one of the biggest plagues of our industry at the moment. Stock issues. So from top to bottom, everyone's got stock issues, whether it be parts or hand tools or sex toys. I can't get anything I want. But Rob, can you shed some light about what is actually going on in the industry from Scag's point of view, and what we might see in the future?
Obviously, stock issues is not something that we're doing on purpose, as much as a lot of people think it is.
You're not just an ignorant brand, hey, that is refusing to supply the market with the machines that we need.
Since COVID hit, yes, COVID's a real thing, and yes, it's causing issues right around the world, no matter what. We live in our own little bubbles. It has caused a lot of issues around the world with staff shortages, which then creates component shortages, which means you can't build mowers. You can't supply parts. It is a very, very difficult world of manufacturing at the moment. If we just look at manufacturing to start with, before we get into the dreaded shipping part, a lot of manufacturers have had to change the ways they do business. If we look at Scag, for instance, their frustration has been extremely high of components. They've now eliminated most of them issues, bought a lot of things in-house, and have started doing a lot of stuff themselves so they can program it with a little bit more clarity, because they will program for their, whatever it is, 10 production lines to work on the promises of stock of components turning up on a certain day.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn up. They don't get told. Everything's just up in the air. It's a nightmare for everybody. So they've done that. But the one issue they can't eliminate is engines. This year is going to prove to be another major supply chain problem. So
at the start, what was the first issues that came up?
Well, it was ROPS frames, it was seats, it was drives, it was it was so many components.
So it was across the board, and
absolutely.
Now there's one.
So I can only talk from Scag.
Yeah.
So they've eliminated most of them now, and they've got it under control. They've got the staff to build the mowers now, but you can only build as many mowers as you can get engines for.
Yeah.
The industry really needs another major player in the engine side, I think.
Yeah.
A couple of manufacturers tried really hard to get Yamaha into it.
Yamaha, yeah.
Absolutely. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. So it's back to the drawing board. So
maybe there'll be a new Catch Pro engine.
Yeah. Call it the Benny Hoover.
Absolutely.
Now I looked at Yamaha, and they do have some good options.
Yeah, absolutely. And we spoke to them at the GIE a couple of years ago, and the American guys were as keen as mustard. But I feel that might have been shut off at head office level in Japan. So it's a little bit different. So we're actually getting a fair bit of allocated stock, and our year for stock allocations is looking a little bit better. Touch wood. So anything can change, but the big issue at the moment, shipping. Oh jeez, it's fucked. So we paid for $2.5 million worth of stock in October, which a lot of it has just hit the water. So back in normal times, we would get containers loaded and door to door we'd have them in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, worst case scenario. Now we're paying double for the privilege of waiting 4 to 6 months for them. And shipping lines, they don't care. There's just no accountability. So there's occasions where our shipping agent, we use multiple shipping agents, have, all 6 are on the water, all 6 containers, all 10 containers, whatever it is on the water. And then they get the documents when they're supposed to land here in Australia. Oh, that's a bit cheap. Oh, no, hang on. Only 4 have turned up. Oh. The other 2 are here, there. Just, it's crazy. The captains have their own power. And as much as I get told 20 times a week by contractors, by dealers, by anyone that I'll listen to, it can't be that bad. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Now, let me say, the transport industry, now, Catch Pro is much smaller, right? Like, we're running this business out of a house. Now, just the goods that we bring in, say, from Ballard products, some of the other bits and pieces, we've got stuff coming from China and America. Now, we will have a shipment with, say, 3 or 4 boxes, and over the course of 4 days, a courier will come and deliver 1 box every day. And you got to think to yourself, that is a shitload of double handling for 4, boxes of stock. So at some point, those boxes were separated in the shipment, and whether they're sitting at the warehouse in the process line, or even whether they're, have been sent out with multiple couriers, it's ridiculous to think that instead of being organised and just shipping that in one shipment, you've got guys driving around all these suburbs in different parts of, delivering the same shipment.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous waste of, to me, it seems a tremendous waste of energy and time. Yeah. Very, very inefficient way. But it's just crazy, the world that we're living in.
And it's both ends. So it can take 4, 6, 8 weeks just to get an empty container in America. Then you've got to get it on a vessel. And then what's happened, a few of the shipping lines have pulled out of the Australian market because of the turmoil all our ports are in. Yeah. It's a nightmare. They can sit here. And then if the Melbourne port's congested, the old skipper, he just goes to another port.
Yeah, send him up here to Brisbane. I'll take care of it.
Absolutely. And so then it puts another couple of weeks on your shipment.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't put me in a straight jacket, jeez, no wonder we have to have a beer. But it really tests us, and it consumes my life at the moment. Yeah. Shipping consumes my life.
In a perfect world, if we all hadn't gone through COVID and we didn't, have some of the stock issues that we were having, do you think that the Australian industry boom that we're all living in, do you think we still would have seen some issues, or do you think that the market could have been sustained if there was no such thing as COVID or, even wars at the moment?
I can only speak for Scag, and we're growing quite a lot in Australia year on year on year.
But the whole Australian industry is booming.
It is, and we could have supplied what we needed to in the Australian market.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we could have 100% supplied what we needed to.
And don't you think it's such a shame for upcoming brands? I know that you guys have been around for a long time, but, you guys are a part of that boom. There's contractors are buying more and more zero turns every year. I know I look at it and, we're doing okay with some stock because it's a different level and, it's not proper machinery or anything. But wouldn't it just be fantastic that, right in the middle of the boom, there was none of these stock issues, and you would see, businesses doing tenfold business, really.
I should be fantasising about Essendon winning the premiership. Reality is I fantasise about getting containers, which is just so wrong. It shouldn't happen.
That's
you're stressed.
Yeah. Your voice changes when I talk to you, and you're like, getting containers tomorrow, buddy. Yeah. You can tell there's a whole different demeanour.
I'm even happy to help unload them. We're all excited and that, but it shouldn't be like that. It should just be normal business. But business is very challenging worldwide at the moment, and it's not just one supplier. It's not just one importer. It's in totality the whole lot, and And it's going to break some people. And then you've got the roll-on effect. So we can't supply to the dealers. And so how do the dealers keep the doors open?
Yeah.
So then they're stressing because if it's a Scag or if it's a Hustler or if it's a Toro, like it's the big end of their business.
Yeah.
So a good dealer is going to struggle to keep his doors open with handheld gear.
Yeah.
They need this stuff to survive. So it really affects them, which is affecting their family.
Yeah.
And then the contractor can't get his new mower. So how does he then support his family?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not any of our faults.
But
we're all trying to do our best, but that's a start. The ball just keeps rolling.
It does all the way through the end consumer, the
the
person who needs us to look after their properties. So, I mean, I know that there'd probably be an increase in servicing old machines. I mean,
but then the side effect of that is that parts are in shortages as well. So how do you keep the older mowers going when you can't get the parts for them?
And then you got this bastard from last episode who's hogging 2 mulch kits and a catch pro.
Absolutely. And then you got Big Vlad dropping bombs on the world.
Oh yeah, that's
And
changing things up as
It's
well.
changing everything. So look at fuel. So we got notification that the shipping companies are putting like $2,000 a container on each container as a fuel excise at the
Why
moment.
doesn't Scag
because
just
Big Vlad's doing it.
whip up their own ship?
Yeah,
It might be fucking cheaper than paying the exorbitant amounts.
Yeah,
And Narelle can drive it.
Get the rail on board.
Absolutely. So there's so many issues in that, and working through them is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It is very complex, and wow, it tests you mentally every single day.
So just quickly, you mentioned fuel prices and everything. Seems very fitting that maybe we should talk a little bit about the upcoming battery lineup. Now, obviously, all of this stuff is in the works. There are some prototypes. There are some early models coming. But what can you tell us about this battery lineup? What can we expect, and maybe when can we expect it? I know that's a lot to unpack there.
It is. So Scag's obviously real. For the last they've had a battery freedom since before I started playing with it. So that's how long Scag's been playing in this sector, just doing testing.
Yeah.
Okay. Like these machines don't just fall out of an R&D department overnight. No. It takes a long time. So, and Scag, when they do something, it goes through R&D, then it goes out to certain people in the field, then it comes back, goes out. It can be 4 or 5 years before it actually hits the market.
That they've actually been doing that for that long. That's cool.
A long, long time. So, the first one that's in the market now, it's been released for the US market, their season, which is starting to happen. The snow's starting to melt. They're starting to stripe up and all of that, so which is good. Is the Liberty 52. Scag's made a decision to do them all in 52s at the moment. I'm begging them to do a 32V ride.
Oh my god! I don't even get me started.
Now we can travel again. We can go over and have some good, serious discussions.
So
on
a
something
32V ride in a battery model
would be gold.
Fucking just rule our Ben and my target.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the people. So like we did a battery episode 6 months ago. I think we'll probably end up, maybe touching on that topic again because the technology is moving at such a rapid rate,
so fast.
If you haven't seen that one, go back into the archives. You can check that one out. We mostly touched on handhelds because that was really all that was available. But now that we are running several battery products in our businesses. You've got Husky, Ego,
Bush Ranger,
and I'm pretty much the same. Like, I don't have the Husky stuff. We've actually got Still, which we did just retire, and we've got Ego and some of the Bush Ranger stuff. Now, you do see some comparisons of people like, well, okay, this cost me 20 cents per charge, and then this is this but. Look, our own personal experience, there is no comparison between a piston unit and a battery unit. You're gonna save money no matter what. We've talked about that. Now, in our applications, in our businesses, our main core work is either residential or retirement villages. Now, the only petrol-powered units that we run is the 32V ride, and we have a Bush Ranger push mower. But we are definitely being pushed to... Now, the zero turn is kind of like nobody there is really pushing. But the push mower, lots and lots of managers and stuff like that are already starting to say, like, we barely hear yous, and then all of a sudden you start this thing up. It is going to have a big impact. And that 32, we know that there's a 30 coming, right?
Yep.
Battery model 30?
Maybe. Yeah. Do they call it?
Sorry, did I say something wrong?
No.
Okay.
If we get back onto where we were, so
my bad.
No, you're good. No, it's all good. I know my place. So the 52 Liberty is the first one that's going to be released, which we will bring a couple in straight away, and we'll have a bit of a play with them and a test. They're not $10,000 mowers, okay? So let's get that right here and now, okay? You look at Mean Green, who are doing an awesome job breaking into the Australian market at the moment. They're the sort of prices you're going to be looking at with a Scag, okay? Yeah. You're not talking $8,000 to $15,000. So the Liberty's been launched at that residential market in a 52. Scag has aligned themselves with Vanguard batteries, which I think is a good thing. So it's a reputable brand. And they've been doing all the development in conjunction. Yep. So there's a lot of work been going on there.
So will you see these Vanguard batteries on other brands of zero turns? Or is it more... Okay,
I'd say so. Well, it probably needs to be. Like Vanguard needs to... we don't have it exclusively or anything like that.
I just read an article that...
well, unless I don't know officially, but I think...
No, and neither do I. It's just I did see, when I was trying to do some research on the GIE when it was coming out... it looked like they were plugging the Vanguard technology batteries, and I could see that they were working together as a partnership to build this machine. I thought, I wonder if that is going to be exclusive.
I don't know. Yeah, to be honest. I really don't know. So we'll bring a couple of them in and give them a good test and see how they go. But in full development, as if a few of you guys watched the GIE from a distance last year, so Tiger Cap 52, V-Ride 52 are in full testing at the moment.
Do you know if they're going to change the bonnet or guard on the V-Ride?
They're prototypes, dude.
It looks like a butter, the old school butter containers.
People would have to go way back in the archives to our GIE episode to get amongst that. But I think you called me. I think Rob called me and said, "What the fuck, dude? It's a prototype."
I think I called you as well. We probably made the exact same comment.
We probably had to edit some shit out of that episode because of what you were saying.
Absolutely. So they're in full development. So they'll be released officially, I believe, at the GIE this year, if they're on track. So that'll depend on testing. And then obviously the big one for the push guys. So obviously Scag released a 30-inch push mower 2 years ago at GIE.
Yeah.
And BJ's been testing it for us quite a bit here, and we've got it right now for the Australian market. The second part of that is a swivel wheel model we'll release here, hopefully for this season, which will be awesome. It is a heavy mower. It's 100 kilos. It's bloody heavy, okay? There is a knack to using it. In that swivel casters on the front is going to put a whole new dimension to it.
Oh, and you know what? I can't wait. I actually took some video.
You're not getting them. No, you're right. I'll get you some.
Can I before you say your little bit? Is this swivel wheel going to be like a conversion thing, or do you have to get a new unit?
So there's a swivel wheel model and there's a conversion kit for the existing ones.
Okay, now I know that there's fuck all of these units in the Australian market, but just in case, I thought it would be good if anyone, because some people can't wait and they might be like, well,
yeah, well, we've held them back a little bit for a reason.
Yeah, you got to get the testing done.
Yeah. We have a lot of orders already from contractors for them.
Sure.
Every one of them is a swivel wheel model.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that, and then the next step of that, which will hopefully be released at GIE as well, is it will be in a battery version as well.
The California model.
Yep. So
California.
So 30-inch for your retirement villages.
Yeah.
all of that. So again, it's going to be Scag quality.
Now, I was always skeptical about battery, but I fucking love battery equipment now. Hand tools, I've never even demoed like Mean Green or anything like that, but I have to say, I fucking love the hand tools. So I can only imagine how much. When you say it's for the retirement villages and stuff, it's not just for them; it's for you as well.
There's just so many. I'm all in because, look, we have talked about all years servicing. People talk about vibrations and say fuel poisoning. Like there is so many reasons why. Now I don't particularly like the world that we're living in with all of the rules. You can't hit your kid, you can't smoke on that street, you can't it's just different to the way that
Can
people
you kick your dog still?
No, God, no. Of course you can't. Jeez, you kick your dog and you got all these bloody animal people up here. But I got to be honest, the battery revolution is something that I'm all in on it. And there's a lot of people who are still like, we'll just still have our, petrol or diesel cheaters or whatever it is.
And
but
that's fair enough. Like, there's always going to be some people that are going to love their diesel. Like Americans, really. Like, they're the ones that are getting all this shit first. But you don't see a lot of battery tools being used in the American market.
No, they're massively skeptical.
Like, you've got guys that are running full, like Footprints, for instance, down in Sydney. He's running a full battery operation. Like, he's doing these premier, just amazing properties, and he's just all battery. Like, everything from mowers to the edges to the blowers, everything.
We've got a guy, good mate of the show, Conrad.
Conrad.
He's completely...
And he just got that battery. Big Allet cylinder mower from...
Is it battery powered?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
By Ego.
And, okay.
They're the Ego, that's the Ego slip-in batteries that...
where the hell have I been this bloody week? Anyway, look, you certainly don't need to sell me. And I will be, just like the stand-on market and the products and accessories, I will always try and push a concept that I think is going to be great for the industry.
Absolutely. And it's...
Well, and I'll tell you what, if you own a Ram truck at the moment, you've got to get fucking battery equipment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, I'm just fucking just realising that I've got photos from November when I was like, oh, look at the price of fuel. It was $1.93 on my wife's birthday, the 19th of November. Look at the price of fuel, $1.93. Diesel was $1.63. Now, ULP is fucking $2.21, and diesel's like $2.40 or some shit. I'm like, what have I done? I'm getting the truck.
Once Big Flat stops bombing the world, it should get back to a bit of normality.
Yeah.
But I think to hit your emissions targets, again, like we all get a bit selfish, but if we're thinking about our kids and grandkids and their kids, we need to do something now. If I put my hippie hat on for a little bit.
I'm really all about myself at the moment.
Yeah. And that's, we need to think about that because we really don't think about it.
And to be honest, if everyone is actually honest with themselves, the new emission compliant hand tools are not the same hand tools of the past.
Correct.
No, it's just like...
I've got two Shindaiwas that are less than a year old sitting under my house because I fucking cooked them. Yeah, and like that, I had two Shindaiwas that I ran for 5 years. Now, I can't blame Shindaiwa for it because that's what they've had to do to meet compliance issues.
It's the same with cars. It's the same as earth moving or truck industry. If they're up to like Euro 8 or whatever it is now, and with your DPF filters and your AdBlue, like there's an AdBlue shortage in Australia.
Yeah,
and it's all about emissions. So it's just the way the world's going, and it's something we have to adapt to. And if we don't adapt to it, we're going to get left behind, and there'll be no product to sell. So you've got to get on board, and it will. But the issue, I think, with batteries is that batteries are evolving so much.
Yeah.
Sort of month or quarterly to monthly to all of that. It's crazy how much they're changing.
Do you remember back in the day, one of the craziest things that batteries came out with for such a long period of time was the Energizer, where you could touch the 2 points and it would show you how much was left in the
What about
battery.
when you put it on your tongue? As a kid, how cool was that?
And you're like, oh.
You know, I used to do that on Friday nights before I was married. And I used to say, whoa, this is a dirty, dirty woman.
Some of the fucking things we used to do on Friday night.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
So Scag's getting really
It's
not
awesome.
just dipping their toes in the water. They've been playing for a while, and they're going to have a genuine dip at that battery market, which I think is a good thing.
It's super exciting.
Awesome, really, yeah.
I can't wait. No, I've only had a little bit of a play on a mean green, just very, like I'm talking a couple minutes.
I've driven them a few times at GIE.
Yeah.
And you know, there's not a lot of difference really.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see like a brand like Scag that has always been at the forefront of innovation. I really, really, really can't wait to see what they come up with, and I think they're going to be a huge player. And I think there's going to be maybe say 3 or 4 other key players along with them. And yeah, I think regardless, you know, if you're taking like a footprint of a V-Ride or a Tiger Cat or whatever the case may be, and you're turning that into a battery-powered unit, it's just, I don't understand how I know what the price tag is going to be, but the payoff is going to be huge.
Yeah.
You know, no belts, no air filters, no all of this
The
stuff.
maintenance is like
this. You think
Yeah.
about how many hours people are doing on there now on our V-Ride at the village. We feel like we get 50 hours really quickly because we use it to cut the grass, but we also use it to transport ourselves around the village.
And to blow and everything else.
All sorts of things. So
Poison, whatever you can reach.
yeah, and so you still got to do your oil changes when you're supposed to, because let's face it, oil is cheaper than engines.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
it used to be.
Yep.
So, all right, cool. Can we touch a little bit on this 42 deck that's going to come into Australia?
42. So, in my short time at Scag, every time I'm there, every time I'm speaking to them, I've been begging for a 42-inch deck. And, excuse me. Being an American company, they just want bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger. So they done the 36-inch a few years ago, and it's just like, it's one of our biggest selling mowers in the Liberty. And so I've had quite a lot of hefty discussions in the boardroom at Scag over in the US on getting a 42-inch, to the point where when they finally developed it, they call it the Aussie Mower because I'm the biggest pest in the world apparently. So they're on the water at the moment.
Yeah.
So traditional Scag quality, like we know a 42-inch deck's a huge seller in Australia.
Huge.
How fucking cool would it actually be if they called that 42 the fucking Aussie?
Well, at the
Aussie.
GIE Expo, they tried to find an Australian flag to put on it.
No
Oh,
way.
no way.
And
That's
so
awesome.
I'm getting an Australian flag tattoo.
Yeah.
And I'll sit on it and I'll just lift my shirt up.
So we've finally got the last. It's basically the chassis of a 36. It'll run a Kohler Pro. It'll be normal Scag quality, so
nice.
it'll be good. So we're finally. I think it's the biggest gap in our range, to be honest, and has been ever since I've been around. So to fill that gap is huge, and
I think a 42 is a good place to start. I think if you're going to come into the market, I think you had a 41, didn't you? You started with...
Mate, I probably had the only 41-inch deck ever made.
So I had a 42.
It was a country
Country
clipper.
Clipper.
41.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard
No
of
one's
a
ever
country
heard
clipper.
of it.
No, I've heard of Country Clipper.
No, it's their Wrangler model. Don't know.
Well, history with international mowers, they were the first ones to bring Country Clipper in.
Oh,
for
wow.
real?
Yep.
See, we don't... see, Scully's out there. We learn all sorts of crazy shit on this.
So that was back before the Scag days. So
Very nice.
absolutely.
No, well, I'm excited to see it because, I started on a 42 and I had a 42 Walker. That was 42, wasn't it? Fuck me, that was so long ago.
That might have actually been a 36, but...
Would you fit in a 36?
I look like a fucking idiot, to be honest.
It would be like Mario Kart races.
That was, you know what, that was the scariest thing about buying a 32. I thought it was going to be wider than the fucking machine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about access for the machine if I'm going to have to go through sideways.
I'm standing right like this.
It'd be really interesting to see how this 42 does go on the market, because history's told us that a 42 deck has been the most popular Australian-sized mowing deck, correct?
Absolutely.
And a lot of the 42 decks that are actually made are like they're specific for Australians. So,
yeah.
like I think Bobcat, for example, they have a 42 deck, but you can't buy that deck in America. It's only for America.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah. So will this 42 deck be available in the American market as well?
Because if it was just for Australia, we would never have got it.
Yeah. Okay. So. And do you also think that, because it's funny, even though 42 decks are not a thing in America, I have been seeing on social media that they've been wanting a 42 stand-on. Which is an odd size.
Yeah.
It's just that we know that their access is completely different.
Yeah,
so here, dudes are full ragging on me because they want their chute blockers. Like that's how much tolerance there is. If like they can't even be 10 mil wider, to get into some of these
absolutely.
areas.
It's access, and our properties are getting smaller, not bigger, because as soon as someone can buy a bigger property and split it up and make some coin, that's the Australian way these days, isn't it?
It does seem to be.
So, and good on them for trying to make some money. But like your normal house block, it doesn't matter what you see things posted on LMCA where the little sideways this wide, the hot water service is there, and they've got that much room to get a mower through.
It just blows my mind. If you can't fit a Honda through it, it just blows my mind. Like, what? You're going to have to take that machine through someone's house. So I've just picked up a few houses in a housing village, and for some reason...
Housing commission?
No, it's not a housing commission, but it's like a housing village, like houses in a village situation. So for some reason, the only ones that don't do their own fucking lawn are the ones with zero access, and I have to take it through the house. And that, for some reason, it always rains on that day. So I have to take a pushy through the house.
It has never made any sense to me. But in like the Melbourne, Sydney areas, aren't they like fucking whole suburbs like that?
Yeah, like blocks of land are 300 square metres.
Yeah.
And they're putting a 24 square home on them. There's only 2 metres in the backyard. So, and there's like the garages are butt joined.
Yeah.
And then the other side, you might have a walkway or there's nothing there. So the tight access stuff, it's like going back to the early, 1920s around Fitzroy and Brunswick and the same suburbs like Paddington and Sydney and that, where they were all terrace houses.
Yeah.
But we don't have the laneways at the back like you used to have.
Yeah.
So you poor contractors, you're cooked.
Yeah, that's where the tight access guys come in. I think in one of our previous episodes we were talking about guys that literally just run with a ute. And they can, like, in that situation, it'd be so hard. I could not deal with driving in the city, going to do work like that. Oh, fuck that. Makes me fucking cringe. Like, pulling up to a job and being like, yeah, I just got to park probably in the next suburb.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I had certain unit complexes and stuff where you just couldn't, there was nowhere to park and everything, and I actually just used to do just double park everyone on the street and put the hazards on.
I know which one you're talking about, next to the train station.
That was one of them, yeah.
That was one of them,
yeah. So, well, what else do you do?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've got a job to do. Someone's got to cut the grass.
Because you've got the George Costanza philosophy. Once you get that awesome parking spot, you keep it until you have to move. So that's the philosophy, but everyone's got to run with it.
Yeah. So I might just jump into something that I'm excited about. Now, you are a seasoned veteran with the GIE. You've been a couple of times?
Been a few times. It is quite a good session. It's a pretty big party.
Is it good? Like,
it is. Like, the thing that's different, and we'd love to see one in Australia, but people would. It's a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
And guys would really need to support it, because if someone from our perspective, just say I was in Sydney one year, Melbourne the next, Brisbane the next, you're not going to get any change out of probably 15, 20 grand to do the show. So it's a lot of money to invest if people then don't turn up.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. So GIE, they come from all over the States. So you'll be sitting in a hotel somewhere or at the 4th Street Live stage or something like that, having a beer, and you'll be talking to contractors from all over America. And they all come, they all have a look, and they really support the show. And it is a good show. And there's some side parties to the show that would blow your mind. The cola party on the Wednesday night is just wow. It's
I'm excited.
just crazy. So we hope we should be back there this year. I'm going to take this big bastard with me.
Yay!
And that, so for him to experience it.
Cola party, I'm gonna fucking own that. Just
So we've talked about this, on previous episodes, and I really, really, really want to go, but it's like I'm in one of those situations where I'm like, oh, should I take my family and go and do, some other American activities,
Vegas, baby.
Oh yeah, take me kids into Vegas.
so I have to take my wife because
Here's
if
a
I go
gun.
to that cola party, she's gonna have to fucking babysit me and nurse me back to health.
Yeah, because I tell you what, babysitting this dude when he's maggot is just so not
I
cool.
will put him with Scotty. It's all good.
We will have the best time.
So, do you ever run into any other Aussies when you're over there? I'm not talking about
very few.
I'm talking about industry, like people in our
Even
industry.
a lot from the. I haven't run into too many.
Okay.
We've taken dealers over there. I think it was 4 years ago. We took 25 odd dealers over there. Which we'll do again in a couple of years. Now we're starting to get back into a bit of normality because the education from a show like that is enormous for contractors and for dealers.
Yeah.
And knowledge is gold. When you've got that knowledge, your confidence is up and you really start to understand the industry as a whole and not just your own little business. So it's a big wide world and you can really learn from it. And the way it's set up with the indoor part on the Wednesday and it's only open to contractors until I think 4 o'clock on the Wednesday. And you go in, then all the beers start flowing and food and it's all giveaways. You're looking at all the stuff. Then the Thursday, Friday, it's all outdoors. So you can ride every mower. There's obstacle courses. You can have a good play on them. You can do all of that as often as you want. And it's just you get a real good understanding.
I'm going to find Corey and give him a cuddle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And snort a line of coke off his washboard abs. I don't think he listens, so probably hopefully no one pulls the audio and sends that to us.
But it is a really well done show, and it's the biggest one in America for a reason because it's done so well. So it's but yeah. So if anyone is ever thinking of going and you can afford, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So before in the battery stuff, I didn't mention it, but I've got a few Scag pals over there, because anyone who owns a Scag is a friend of mine. So
Everyone?
Almost everyone. I jumped in and went straight to this guy, Matthew Hawke. I don't know if you've seen his stuff. He does awesome work. He's always on Scag, Stripe Nation, everything. He actually filled me in on how good the Tiger Cat, the battery Tiger Cat. He said it's just like driving. It's just, there's no noise. Like driving a normal zero-tone mower, no noise. I was like, fuck yeah. That was some of the feedback we used for our battery episode. But yeah, I just can't wait to actually shake the hand of all these people I talk to, like Jake. There's a lady over there, Megan. Yeah, Megan's like, there's so many good people.
And that's what we call it in Australia, and I sort of started it a couple of years ago, welcoming people into the Scag family.
Yeah.
I felt a bit of a dork when I first done it, but it's
and now you've started a craze. There's brand families everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to the Toro family. Welcome to the,
and we know who started it.
Yeah.
100%. But that's what Scag's like in America as well. Like, from the president, I can ring the president of Scag any day.
Yeah.
And head of sales, Dennis, awesome guy. And that Jake, who's the head of marketing, who's now starting to move into work more with Dennis.
Yeah.
All these guys, from a technical side, if there's something that we get stumped on, they get back to us overnight every time.
And Jake was he was the social media manager.
He was. So Megan's taken over from that now.
Cool.
Oh, so I should friend request her.
Yeah.
Because she's actually coming up in my, how you get suggested friends. And I've always looked at her and thought, I don't know who, I know that she's someone from Scag.
Yeah.
But I always like befriending the social media people so that you can maybe get them to share any of your own content, because that gives you huge credibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, that's good to know. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on about the GIE? Or
if you go, you've got to do Vegas, New Orleans, Nashville. Make it fun. We all work hard.
Does that mean that we're doing that?
I think we'll do Nashville
I'll
again.
fit in there. I'll get some really tight
Nashville
jeans,
is
some
the
good
coolest
boots.
place I've ever been
A nice
in the
hat.
world.
there's so many, man. There are
Yeah.
so many places
Yeah.
that I would just absolutely.
New
love to
Orleans
go.
is off its head. I don't know if I could survive a second New Orleans, but I was there with my
I'll come back with some beads.
So I was being good boy. But Nashville is just a cool place. It's just, I hadn't been anywhere in America like Nashville.
Okay.
That's awesome
So
to know.
it's pretty cool. But yeah, if you go there, have some fun. Take the fam, have a holiday. You all work hard. Enjoy.
Yeah, and
nice.
so something that I want to talk about, hope it's not awkward, but how important is it to have a brand ambassador? Obviously, we know that is BJ.
Hey.
But how important is it on your end to have someone who is not only a customer and someone that's passionate about the industry, but they're passionate about the brand and really can use their influence to help people make decisions about certain brands or certain pieces of equipment? Like, how important is all of that to Scag Australia and International Mowers? And yourself personally.
Well, being brutally honest, I wasn't sure to start with, and I know it happens around the place and all of that, and then we started working with BJ a bit, and let's make it very clear, this big handsome man has paid for all his gear. Okay,
Did my looks get me over the line?
Absolutely. So he doesn't get it for free. I don't know, a lot of people are he pays for his gear. Okay, we are not about giving away freebies when it comes to that. So he does it because he's got a passion for the product. And my whole philosophy was, I don't want secret men's business.
Yeah.
I want people to know we have a brand ambassador. I know on all the sites, there's lots of brand ambassadors in the background from other manufacturers, and they don't come out and tell you they're a brand ambassador. My own philosophies and I suppose credibility, I can't do that. I need to be upfront with people so he knows, they know that he is a brand ambassador. Okay, so there's nothing going on in the background.
And I completely agree. Like, it's a little bit of the American model. They've been doing this for years. And you have certain key influencers that have their own following for whatever reasons they are. But it's a great tool for a customer or a potential customer to reach out and get a user experience rather. Now, it's great to talk to a salesman. It's great to talk to a salesman.
We're all dodgy.
Come on, I'm trying to put you guys over here. You're just fucking ruining it. But I just have always been, like, I love the fact that BJ can put that title on himself and say, I am the Scag Australia brand ambassador, and if you need anything or want to know anything, come and talk to me. Ask me this question. Ask me that question. Now, there's always going to be some controversy with bias and, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, look, regardless, even if something is free. Now, we've been given free stuff before with Catch Pro, and you'll never, ever see us use something that is a piece of shit. It's just not the Aussie way. I don't even know anyone out there that would plug any piece of equipment or a brand that they wouldn't buy themselves. And, I think, obviously it does happen to a certain extent.
I probably disagree a little bit. I think people are influenced with freebies, and I think it's very important for people to pay for their gear to truly get an honest opinion about it. Because I know for me, if someone was giving me gear, I don't feel I'd feel guilty giving an honest opinion.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure that I have been given pieces of equipment where I've said, and instead of going out there and burying the brand, you go back and it might not be a whole brand, it might be one piece of equipment. It's like, look, this one is quite not, something that I want to put my name on it. I think it could have an improvement here, and here. And Oh, but maybe that's just me then. Maybe that's just me. Maybe there is other people out there that are key figures for certain brands that showcasing something that maybe isn't very good. But
the problem is we don't know, because a lot of equivalents to me don't promote their brand ambassadors.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is great, and for the most part, not only has it helped the brand, but then you've got BJ himself, who is like, your business is flourishing and grown a lot.
Huge.
Because you're able to use equipment that is actually making you more profitable
100%.
and doing more business.
And that's the benefit too, because people see how I've used my equipment that I've bought in my business to make me go further. But in saying that, I didn't mind paying for anything. I just really I
kind of minded paying for my V-Ride to be honest.
We got a lot more out of you.
I'm 100%. I love the brand. I'm going to the GIE. That never would have happened.
Where are you going in a couple of weeks?
I'm going to the F1 Supercars.
No, Formula One Grand Prix.
Oh, okay. Well,
at Albert Park.
Yeah. So that's happening as well. So
into a corporate box.
So I paid for my machines, but
BJ's only ever been in one box in his life. So.
The cardboard box my wife keeps me in. No, but it's truly it's just been an absolute pleasure. I love the brand. I love everyone, and it is a massive family. People that message me know. If they mention Scag, they're on the line for a long time. I'm going to chat to them all the time. Every day I'll be like, hey, what's going on, man? You want to talk about the cheetah? I don't have one, but let's talk about them. I've got hand manuals. Yeah. You go downstairs, I've got this little thing I call the dungeon. Got a neon sign.
Hang on. Let's concentrate on the dungeon for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, how many cat o' nine tails?
There's there's a lot of hockey straps down there that could be converted. But no, I got stickers on everything.
He's down there in his cat's eye gold G-banger.
Absolutely, which we've all seen, unfortunately.
Sitting with his little Scag models.
Yeah, wee! But
and then there's other guys like Hugh in WA.
I fucking love Hugh.
Hugh is just a legend, and again, not a lot of people understand Hugh's background, and I talk to him a lot. And this is a guy who's went to war for Australia, and I don't think Scag and Americans in a whole have probably taught me to respect our veterans more than I ever have. To be honest, they're so patriotic. Hugh done 3 or 4 tours to Iraq, a couple to Afghanistan. Man, this guy's a freak. He's a legend.
Let's give this dude a plug. So this is Hugh Mungus, which is not his real name.
Maybe Trent.
Trent from Punchy.
Yeah. So
give me back my pass.
Check it out on Instagram. It's GIMO.
GIMO.
This dude is not only is he one of the funniest dudes.
Yep.
I am actually scared to get on the piss with him and BJ, because I legitimately feel like I'll get raped.
I would not say it wouldn't happen. I spoke to him on the phone the other day.
They are just two loose cannons.
I spoke to him on the phone, because I always catch him, I try and call him once a month if I can, and we'll fucking chat on the phone. The conversations we have are just out of control, and they even leave me.
Yeah, I've been there.
And I'm just like, whoa, that was a good one.
He sends me a text, right, asking me about a product. And every single time it's not even hey, g'day or anything. It's just first up, what are you wearing? That's... And it's just, he's just a funny dude. So check it out, GIMO on Instagram. Also, we should shout out one of his best mates, who is another friend of the show, Anthony Hahn at Momentum Mowing.
Yeah, and you'll get your 32 eventually, just relax.
Oh, so he's, okay, so...
he has.
Yeah,
big shout out to those guys over in WA.
And I haven't been able to go to WA for 3 years because
are you saying
McGowan's very much like Big Vlad, bang, closed, no stinky Victorians allowed.
Yeah.
So, but I will be over there shortly, and I'm sure it's going to cost me a lot of money.
Are you saying that you need maybe a WA ambassador?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Hugo have spoken about that. So,
me and you have spoken about that.
Absolutely.
Jeez, he's going to have a great Sunday, isn't he?
He is. I love that dude, man. He's always good value. Another good dude is Glenny down there. Glenn Quartermain, he's a good dude.
He's another one of our
sends me
good
texts occasionally saying, I've got a little stiffy again.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what? That's a warning label you should put on the V-Rides. I find myself in bumpy terrains coming off with travelling boners.
Yeah, I remember travel stiffies.
Yeah.
Sorry to any of the women that are listening. I know that there's probably only 3 of you.
I'm pretty chubby, so you can't really tell. Now, talking about going over WA, we can't forget a very important person or people in our industry, and that's the dealers. So I know that you have good, close relationships with a lot of dealers, and I speak to a lot of dealers like Will and Scotty. They're a wealth of knowledge. There's tons out there, but
our dealers are really part of the Scag family. They're the most important part as far as I'm concerned, because without them we don't have access. So it's and you don't stress. They are important, and being a dealer is not easy, especially at the moment with all of that. But being a Scag dealer is really about being part of the Scag family without getting too, I don't know, emotional or something.
Yeah.
And they have passion for the Scag product. I've had opposition reps come up to me and say, man, what is it with Scag dealers? They won't come across to us at all because they've got passion for the product because they know how much it works. It doesn't matter what product you've got. You have to have an awesome relationship with your dealers.
Yeah.
Without dealers, the industry is fucked. There's no other way to put it. They are so important for our industry. And if we're not supporting the dealers, no matter what product you've got, they're going to fall by the wayside. A lot of our dealers are very old. There's not a lot. There's your younger guys like Will, Ash and Derek, Joe at Sylvie's,
Ryan.
Awesome guy. Right, you know, we've got some really good young dealers. Ash at Warrnambool, we've got quite a few really good with it young dealers. And like, Will has only been a Scag dealer for 3 years. He's been our dealer a year, 2 years. And we don't just hand out our dealer of a year. There's a lot that goes into it. Scotty from Ulladulla has been our dealer of a year. Karoy has been a dealer of the year for Scag. Warrigal Forest and Garden, another big dealer of ours who's won the award as well. We take it quite seriously. We don't just hand it out to my best mate, as apparently some people think I do. But it is about servicing your guys in totality, and it's an important part. And you guys, if you look at these dealers, and everyone says you don't have enough dealers, we'll never have as many dealers as the other guys because we're a bit different to the other guys, and we are growing our dealer network immensely. I think we're up at, I don't know, 80, 85 at the moment around Australia.
And surely, like, stock issues and stuff like that is playing a role as well during this
I've got
boom.
a dozen dealers wanting to come on board at the moment
and
around
how do
Australia, but I can't supply... mentally, I can't supply them in front of our existing dealers.
Of course not, yeah.
So, and I won't do that. We have to support our existing network before. So we're slowly setting up these guys on the premise of having stock eventually.
Yeah.
And they're coming on board. And they're now ringing me, you know, like it was bloody hard 5 years ago. It was, you know, not a lot of guys were knocking on our door. We were knocking on their doors, but it's changed a lot because of the reputation we've now got and how we work with them.
I can totally relate to that too, because I believe I probably sent, you know, maybe 5,000. I don't know how many dealers there are in Australia. I think I might have seen a figure like there's like 4,000 dealers. This is like mower shops. Would that be a figure?
Sounds a lot.
Sounds a lot? Okay.
I wouldn't want to knock on all their doors.
No, but like, I mean, we went, you know, we were convinced that we were going to be a distributor and that we had to have a dealer network. And, boy, did that fail. But now, you know, we have, a new dealer, and we're cruisy, you know, there is no terms. It's like, you know, fuck it, if you want to buy one, do it, because we're still in that mindset where we want to get them out, and usually if there's two dealers in the same territory, because they are carrying different brands, then we only give them fitments for their respective brands. So if a Scag guy wants to become a dealer, we'll give them the Scag fitments. If there's a hustler dealer around the corner that also wants the Catch Pro, we don't cross those
I think that's
units
really
over.
good, to be honest.
Well, it helps them. It's not going to help anyone if you've got the Scag dealer selling hustler fitments.
Yeah.
So it's a way for us that we can spread it a little bit. And we also, you know, I will also just talk to them straight up and say, look, maybe you guys should even contact each other, and if there's any beef, let's just leave it in the freezer. Let's just, you know, talk about it. Whoever had it first gets priority, and it is what it is. But
We have the same problem with our McConnell Reach mowers.
okay,
So, and you can't set a dealer network up with that because it's all dependent on what tractor it goes on. Whether it's a green and yellow one, whether it's a red one, whether it's a blue one, whether it's an orange one. So you can't have a dealer network. So basically everyone becomes a dealer in that sense, because if a council or a contractor, they're normally brand aligned and they don't change very often. So you're on the same principle as that. So it's very hard to do that.
yeah. I mean, look, once upon a time, even probably now, I probably would have at one point looked at brand exclusivity based on a certain amount of units per year. But the concept was so young and so, you know, like no one really, I mean, let's face it, everyone kind of looked at it, was like, good work, kid, you know. But we would have for sure looked at some sort of exclusivity. Hindsight wouldn't have been the best idea.
No.
But yeah, so all right, well, I
Dealers
think
are good. Can I just cover one more thing?
absolutely take the mic.
Take the floor. I just want to talk about, there's a lot of discussions about paying cash for a mower and financing a mower.
This is a bloody great topic.
That's a good topic.
It is.
I didn't even have this in me bloody published notes.
And everyone has their own, and everyone's entitled to their own opinions. I really believe that if you're making enough money to have 10, 15, 20, 30 grand in the bank, go and buy a motorbike or a boat and enjoy life. Finance is there as a business tool to get you better in your business. Do not be scared of finance. Use finance to improve your business if you're doing it in the right way. And let's really drill down into it. There's two types of contractors. Contractor that wants to get more work done. Contractor that wants to get to the pub by 2 o'clock. And there's nothing wrong with either of them. They're both perfect. If you have the right equipment, it enables you to do that.
Yep.
So it's as simple as that. So, and I'll probably get a few messages, Rob, you're a dick and all of that, and that's fine. It's just my opinion. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, I'm not really. Jeez, I don't think you've said anything too far out.
I
Yeah.
think it's 100% accurate.
If we look at, and I've worked extremely hard on finance packages in that, and if you jump on the Scag Australia website, so we have a commercial low dock finance. So a 32-inch V-Ride, for instance, 5 years, done the warranty for 5 years, it's $80 a week.
I know.
Okay, you're doing 2 to 5 extra lawns a day.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer. Keep the money in your pocket. Do stuff with your family is my philosophy. Use that. Do that. We are also launching next week a new consumer finance, which is all low dock as well. So
Nice.
you don't need financials as well. So if you're a contractor starting out and you haven't had your ABN for 2 years, and that type of situation, we can now do that as well, which will be released over the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
But you need to, we all work hard. I see the contractors, man, you guys are animals.
Yeah.
I couldn't do what you guys do. I'm far too lazy for that shit. So you work hard, spend time with your family when you get that time, do something, buy something, enjoy life, and let some other finance company finance your business.
And
I think is gold.
I 100% agree. I don't think that I would have been in the position to buy a house if I had paid outright for my machines. I had the money there because we were saving for a house deposit, and it just wouldn't have worked. Like, I would have had no money in the bank. They would have been like, fuck, what are you doing, mate? You got no savings at all. So I 100% agree.
There is nothing better when you're self-employed than having cash flow.
Yeah.
And I don't know how... Look, I know that there is a lot of people that they prefer to just buy their tools and own their tools.
Yeah.
Look, I think if they have the capacity to do it, then that's okay. But we, all the time, BJ, you and I are both being asked, like, okay, which mower should I get for, 10 grand or 11 grand, whatever it is. And sometimes when you find out the application they're in, it's like, oh, if you could just get 5 or 6 more, you could get yourself into a V-Ride, and all of a sudden you can have a machine that's going to be versatile, that can do this along with this, and you can build into that.
Yeah.
And you do hear people say, like, oh, that would be too much of a stretch for me. Now, I am not trying to toot my horn in any way, shape, or form, because I am not a rich dude. But
you should see the house behind us.
don't bloody say that. Anyway, most people have seen my house.
Just broken.
Yeah, we had to walk up the stairs, not on.
Okay, so back to me story. Now, let me even say that when I bought my V-Ride, it was much harder times. That was right before the industry boom, we'll call it. But I've got to be honest, I think my V-Ride, maybe cost me 98 or maybe it's 100. I don't know, something like that. Now, the point of my story is I have never even seen where the bloody payment comes out.
No.
And it's not because I'm a rich dude or anything. It's just that the thought of what's a V-Ride retailing for right now? 48.
14 and a half, is it?
Nah.
15? Oh, 48.
Yeah, 48. They're like 17, aren't they?
Technical questions, man.
Are they
I think
17, about
17.
So I think they were around 17 when I bought mine. That's the only reason why I asked, what are they now? 17 grand to anyone, even if you do have a lot of money, that's a fuckload of money to part with. Some of these finance programs, you almost can't afford not to do it. And this is a little bit embarrassing, but I remember when I came to you for my V-Ride, my biggest fear was I don't really want to show my financials, because we had a lot of money tied up in products. And sometimes that can be very disheartening, thinking like, well, look, I could probably afford this, but I really can't show it. So you're saying that there's going to be low doc with no financials?
Well, it already is, but then it's going to be a consumer.
Yeah, because I don't remember having to show my financials.
And if you look at the Scag Australia website, there's a basic application form on it.
Yeah.
It's not an official application form, so it doesn't then, once you fill it in and hit submit, it doesn't go to a finance company, which will kill your credit rating. So it's just the basic application form, and then the Scag finance guys will give you a call, and they'll go over a couple of little things, and then I'll get back to you within an hour or two and say, yep, you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And the new consumer one's the same. And if we look at, so if you're paying $80, $100 a week, whatever it is, but I'm astonished a bit by contractors.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of contractors, what does your machine cost you to own each quarter? None of them can tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
it's simple to even put a little Excel spreadsheet together and have a look at your cost per quarter.
You were telling me on the way here that you fucking loathe spreadsheets, and now you're telling us
all I do is spreadsheets or stock issues. No. But again, like, you're running a business.
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm not having a go. Don't get me. It's not about that. You need to know where your money's going.
Yeah.
Like, I hear from a lot of contractors, I'm working my ass off. At the end of the week, there's no money there. Well, where's your money going?
Yeah.
What's it going to? Is it all fuel? Do you need to put your hourly rate up? Is it repairs? Is it your payments? Have you got a gambling problem?
Yeah.
Are you buying 2 packets of darts a day, which is $100 a pack?
Yeah.
Type thing.
Do they own an MTD Yardman?
I'm not getting another brand.
I got to be honest, that's the first time that we've ever dissed a brand, but I was thinking in my head, I have to choose the shittest model. The shittest. Now, for everyone that's out there, MTD does have reasonable products along the lines, but the Yardman, nah.
Analyse that to see exactly how good all your gear is, from brush cutters to blowers to hedges, whether it's a multi-tool. Is a multi-tool letting you down a bit? You need dedicated products.
Yeah.
What is it in your business that's costing you the money?
There's a stigma against finance as well. GE, I think, fucked finance for a lot of the generation before me. Like, people see the word finance and they think it's a filthy word. So my truck that I'm waiting on the thumbs up for, apparently things are going a bit slow. Not that I'm worried, but I got an awesome rate on an awesome product that will help me push my business a lot further than I could with a ute. So it was a no-brainer. I've got another crew on the road now. I've got a truck that's going to not only save me, wearing out my Hilux, dragging all my shit behind me, but it's also going to save me money in the long run because it's a diesel. It's also a low dock. It's honestly the easiest fucking thing you would do. All you need is like a couple of little bits of information. Like all I needed was ABN. They needed to know if I was renting or owning a home, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now I do think it's pretty important. And look, we might make a whole episode out of this, financing versus cash payments or whatever. But look, before we sign out on this one, I think it's probably important that, like, if you can't afford it, don't be a novice.
Well, like Rob said, you know what I mean. Do your numbers first.
If you
do your numbers,
So because I know, look, sometimes I've taken business risks before, and I've looked at some things and gone like, oh shit, that's going to be a stretch, and I've been lucky that I felt confident enough to do it. We're not recommending that you take calculated business risks and things like that, but if you're looking at look, we've always said there's nothing better than being equipped.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get into the rural acreage market, you're better off being equipped first and being ready to roll, rather than going in and, say, quoting a place and saying like, I might be able to do this like in a couple of weeks when I get a mower, or you know what I mean? Like,
I get it all the time. A contractor ring me and say, I don't have the work for it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you need to do you need to be confident. But then they'll buy it and they say, the work's just coming.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
When I started my business,
I don't know
Ben
how it
told me.
works. I don't know how it works.
Neither do I.
It's crazy.
I can't explain it, and I don't
started.
like telling people, but it's just one of those weird things that it happened to us too.
Yeah,
Like,
but you two guys have got a really good work ethic as well. So again, sometimes it's about the person as well. Let's be honest.
oh yeah, I mean,
there's some guys with the arse of their pants hanging out and all of that, where it mightn't change, and that's fine as long as they can make $1 doing what they do.
Yeah.
Good luck to them, no issues. But it's amazing how many contractors say to me, once I bought this mower, and it doesn't matter if it's Scag or whatever else, the work just came.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. With every purchase that I've made, it's sort of like made a little bit of a gain. Just rolled us along a little bit further.
yeah, I mean, whether it's buying a bigger trailer or whether it's there's nothing better than being equipped, and it really sets yourself up. In the case of, say, 32, you might find yourself doing all your push mowing jobs and being home by 12:30. To some people, that's the same amount as sometimes. Time is money. They need to be quicker. They can financially cover themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, there's only a very few negative points with some of these machines. Now, they don't suit every business.
No,
if you're doing a lot of lawns that require lots and lots of turns, or if it's not a super flat lawn, you can definitely see some issues. But there's enough information out there, I think.
Yeah.
For people to look at to really get a good idea if it's a good fit for your business. We're going to put a bow on this episode. Rob Shearer, thank you very much for joining the Skull
pleasure.
Session.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Hope this has been part 2 of a 2 episode week for us.
This is our first.
Sorry?
This is our first two
I thought you
episodes.
were going to say, no, this is the first episode. But
Nah.
Don't trip me out, and don't make them think that there's another one coming
Are we
after this.
finishing because we're out of beer?
No, I kind of need to take a piss. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us. Now, don't forget to leave us all your feedback. If you want to see this finance versus cash episode, that'd be excellent, because we are starving for topics now. We've got tons of housekeeping coming on the following episodes for burnout. We've got lots of reviews to read. BJ obviously has something he wants to say.
I've got a little sneak peek. So, is it still good for Donna to come on and teach us how to be better business peoples?
Absolutely. So my much better half is a registered bookkeeper. And
Networking!
She's actually a gym's bookkeeper, and she specialises in lawn mowing guys. So I've offered her services up to the boys because it's again on LMCA
Are you
and
gonna
a few of
watch?
the other platforms. Nope.
Are you gonna?
I might throw stuff at her from the background.
Is this going to be like a bookkeeping cuckold?
We'll just be on the Zoom chat, and all of a sudden Rob's got his schnitzel out in the background, like, what the fuck's going on here?
Look at my Scag.
So there's lots of chats on the group. You know, what programs to run, am I eligible for fuel credits, blah, 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 all of that sort of stuff. So the boys are going to do an episode with Donna on that as well, which will hopefully be, she's way nicer than me.
This is news to me, all of this stuff. I haven't been consulted about any of this, but I like it. We freestyle, so that's good.
That's it.
All right, BJ, you want to sign us out?
Yeah. Let's put a bow on it, boys and girls. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.